My paternal grandmother, my father's mother, of course, was Fina Mae Wheelock. Fina Mae. People called her Fanny. Fanny was half Cherokee. Gave birth to 9 kids. Imagine. 9 children. Sadly, as was all too often the case during her lifetime, one of the children died in infancy. Little Beulah, they called her. But there was something good that came out of that. That was Anne. Anne was another little girl in the community, and Anne needed a home. She needed love. My grandparents gave her plenty of love. And a home full of kids to play with. Imagine that. Also imagine that my grandmother cooked 3 meals a day from scratch. Gosh, it's okay. So you're feeding 11 people 3 times a day. That's 33 plates a day. Just remarkable. I mean, did she ever leave the kitchen? She died of the C word, cancer. Gets too many of us. Impacts way too many families. The wake was in the parlor, they called it, that large room in front of the house, that house that sit high atop the hill in Washington County, Tennessee, in the Harmony community. And if you walked out the back, you could see forever. And the television antenna would pick up Johnson City, Bristol, but Asheville. Ooh, that was a treat. But the death of my grandmother was a sad time. The day of her funeral, it was cold. And my folks drove us to that gravel parking lot under that grove of big oak trees. And I could look outside the car window and see it spitting snow. And when we got out, it wasn't comfortable. But we walked into the church, and, you know, the church, that iconic white church with the modest steeple that you think you've seen a million times and you never have. Well, that was this church. And we walked inside on that cold day, and someone had gone in earlier to build a fire in the pot-bellied stove, so it was comfortable. For some reason, my folks placed me in a pew with some family friends a few rows back from them. My mom and dad sat on the front pew, not far from the coffin that sat in front of the pulpit. And the church filled up that day. People that knew and cared for my grandmother and respected her family. When the preacher stopped preaching, when the service was over, I saw something that I thought was rather unique. I've never seen it since. The pallbearers approached the coffin. One gently, slowly closed the simple lid, and the others took their place around the coffin. But before they picked it up, I noticed, this just has stayed with me for all these years. I noticed they were all wearing the same modest uniform. Pointer brand bib overalls, Pointer made in Bristol, known to be highly durable. Still made in Bristol. But these weren't the overalls that were worn to do farm chores in. That was another pair. These were reserved for special times. The Sunday go-to-meeting bibbed overalls. And these were clean. They were tidy. And the shirts, all the pallbearers wore the same shirt. These bright, bleached white shirts that had been pressed and had creases down the sleeves. And here's a unique thing. These men couldn't afford neckties. They certainly couldn't afford sports coats. But they could afford to have respect and to display their dignity. So they buttoned the top button. Isn't that something? They picked up the coffin, and when they started to walk toward the aisle between the pews, I could hear the floor creak. And as they took a few steps, I could feel the floor move under the weight. And as they approached the first pew where my father was sitting, as they approached that, something happened. This is like a well-written movie script. Now, I got to tell you, my dad was a manly man, afraid of nothing. But on this day, the day of his mother's funeral, as they neared him, the congregation broke out into song. And it was too much. It overwhelmed him, and he fell to his knees, weeping uncontrollably. The congregation sang this song. I'm just a poor, wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of woe. There'll be no sickness, no toil, no sorrow in that bright land to which I'll go. I'm going there to see my father. I'm going there, no more to roam. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home. I know dark clouds hover around me. I know my way. It's rough and steep, yet beauteous fields rise just before me, where God's redeemed their vigils keep. I'm going there to see my mother. She said she would meet me when I climb. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home. Do-do-do. 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 I want to wear a crown of glory when I get home to that good land. And I want to shout Salvation story in concert with the blood-washed hands. I'm going there to see my Savior. I'm going there more to roam. I'm just going over Jordan. wayfaring strange, traveling through